All right, folks, welcome to the real world. I'm Cameron. This is my brother Carson. We just watched Jurassic World Dominion Extended Edition. This movie was long enough already, I thought. I thought it was enough misery to put Jurassic fans through. But we popped it in, and it starts off with the prologue, which we got to see in theaters when we went and saw F9.
Correct.
And we were looking forward to seeing the sequence again because it's a great sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the theater to see Jurassic World Dominion. It wasn't there. They'd cut it completely from the film. And since Colin Trevorrow has come out and stated that, the studio wanted it under 2.5 hours and all these restraints they put on him, he had to cut it out. Here's what's interesting about this extended cut. It's not that they cut out entire sequences, like the opening sequence. That's the most obvious part of the film,
right.
biggest chunk that was cut out, probably at least 5-6 minutes, I would say.
It's more that they just cut out little character moments within scenes that already exist in the movie,
which make the movie so much better. I've got to say, I've completely turned around on this movie. I gave it a very negative review.
Very negative.
I thought this was the worst of the entire Jurassic franchise. After coming out of the theater, I thought this was a bad movie. It was such a sadness that they had ended the great Jurassic franchise on this note. What a slap in the face to Jurassic fans. And I've got to say, I was just shocked by how well made this movie is.
Now, I had a very different experience watching Jurassic World Dominion than Cameron did. I really enjoyed it and had a really fun time in the theater when I watched it theatrically.
Right.
I thought that the Locust thing was a cool new idea that I had never even considered before. But in the context of the movie, I think it's a really interesting thing to do for the Jurassic series. Explore things other than dinosaurs that took place in the Jurassic period.
Right.
Like we saw in the original movie, Ellie Sattler, she's looking at plant life and she's looking at these other, biological things that happened in the Jurassic period, right?
Right.
So bringing in Locust and bringing in these other ideas, I thought was a really cool and compelling way to bring in something new.
Yeah, it is an interesting new idea. I've got to admit, it just threw me for a loop. I mean, I know there's many people out there that think the same way, that why are you going to focus on Locust in a dinosaur movie? But first
they
of all,
don't focus on Locust.
That's true. It's not, I mean, it is a major plot point, but there's a lot of dinos in this. There are a lot of dinosaurs, a lot of dino action.
I think there are actually more dinosaurs and more dino action in this than any other park movie I've ever seen. As far as that I can remember,
probably true.
We're going all over the world. This is a globe-trotting adventure.
It is.
And we have all of these different climates that we're in, like a desert city. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we're in like an icy tundra. Like there's a whole sequence like on a big ice lake. And then we're in the jungle sometimes. And it's all these different places, all these different kinds of dinosaurs that we're having to see all throughout. It's just such a diverse adventure that we get to go through.
It is fun. It is a lot of fun. And I don't know if it's my favorite park. We both agree is the best, the original.
Sure.
But I don't know if it's my favorite of the sequels yet. I'll have to give it a little bit more thought. I still think here's a couple of places where it still falls flat for me a little bit. The legacy characters and the way they're used, I think, is good, but not great. I think they're a lot of times used more for humor, which was a little bit of an odd choice for me. Like, I'm the old guy that doesn't understand what DMs are, or I don't know, I don't want espressos, I want my coffee black, that kind of thing. Like, it's a couple of things like that I think they spend a little bit too much time on, where I would have rather them just been, kind of focused more on the plot and the action and driving the story forward. Mm-hmm. So I think the whole movie could have been tighter. That's why when I started extended cut, I was like, is adding more really going to help? Okay. But it actually does, because of what we said, those little character moments that we get with Maisie. We get a little bit more with her, which I think is great, builds her character out a lot better. Grant gets a couple great moments that I really enjoyed, that not only show how he's just a cool heroic character, but how his character has developed since that first Jurassic film.
Yeah.
And so all these little moments that they're adding in really helps the story breathe a little bit, which, look, this is, like you said, a globe-trotting kind of big story that they're telling here. And so it really needed that time.
Right, definitely.
I think it ends up being like 2 hours, 45 minutes
Right.
after the extended
Right.
cut.
If
So
you haven't seen Jurassic World Dominion, watch the extended cut.
yeah, if you haven't seen it at all, just watch the extended version. There's no need to watch the theatrical version.
If you've seen the theatrical version, the extended cut is still well worth watching.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you've only seen the theatrical, you have to watch the extended because you might be like me and totally come around on it. You know,
Or you might be like me and have already enjoyed it and may
enjoy it
think
more.
watching an extended, I already kind of like the movie. I don't really need much more. But it's a much better film.
Yeah, it is. It's much more in line with what Colin Trevorrow, the director, originally intended. This is the film he wanted to release, but the studio had him cut stuff out.
Right.
So he's come on social media and said that he's very happy that it's out there. He said, I think one of his tweets was, "Friends don't let friends watch the theatrical cut."
Sure,
So,
yeah.
I like that. I like that his vision got out there very quickly for audiences to see. The action sequences in this are phenomenal, which I already thought when I first saw it, because that whole sequence in Malta, that was really exactly what I wanted out of this movie. Dinos in the streets, dinos eating people, dinos in the black market. That was an idea I didn't even think
the
of.
dinosaur black
really
market
cool.
is one of my favorite things this movie does. All
So
these
cool.
weird looking cantina creature people
Right.
that are all in there selling these dinosaurs and
Making
having
them
dino fights in the pits and
so good.
it's just great.
Yeah, dinos chasing motorcycles, and it's just so much fun. And so the visuals on this, we got to mention the cinematography struck me even more here than in the theater. And we're watching it on 4K, my big 4K TV, and we got the sound cranked up, and it just looks and sounds so good. It might be the best looking Jurassic film, definitely since the original, I would say.
I think in a lot of ways it is more visually awesome than the original.
Yeah, really beautiful. So yeah, and I like how they use the new characters and the old characters. We just did a podcast about legacy sequels, and this is, I think, one of the better ones. I really got to say,
absolutely.
Again, I think there's a few instances where they don't use the legacy characters as well as they could have. But what they're doing with them overall, the overall idea and the themes here are excellent. Absolutely. And it's so well done.
Yeah. It's all about generational change and how the old generation and the new generation have the same collective problem and how we should work together,
right,
and learn from each other.
And can a copy of something original be as good or be different?
Sure.
That's a big theme running throughout.
Yeah.
Even we get to see it visually in some of the dino fights we noticed at the end there.
And that's Macy's character personified, essentially.
Right.
She's really the key to what makes this movie really work.
Right.
She's not only is her performance great, I just really empathize with her character. I think she's really sweet and kind and wonderful. But she
also kind of a brat.
Also, yeah, definitely.
She's a teenage girl.
A teenage girl going through problems, but her character, I think, was really, really telling for what the theme of this movie was about, and she really kind of brought everything full circle.
Yeah, it's very well done. So if you haven't seen the extended edition of Jurassic World, and there it is, you can pick it up in stores. I think I got the last one at my local Walmart. I had to ask a guy. He's like, "Yeah, so you want a Jurassic World domination?"
No, Jurassic. No, she doesn't want domination. She wants Jurassic World destruction.
Right. He didn't know the movie. He didn't know the name of the movie. He showed me right where it was, though. And he asked me if it was good. I said, I'm hoping the extended cut's better. So now I'm going to have to go back to Walmart and tell that guy, you have to watch the extended cut because it is great. I really enjoyed it. Score out of 5 stars. Where are you at?
Ooh. I think my score for the movie is relatively the same. I want to say I gave it 4 or 4.5. It definitely, I think, deserves 4 or 4.5. Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's high praise.
I know.
I was at 2 stars. And now I'm at 3.5. So I've gone up significantly.
That's quite a change.
It is a big change. It's literally from a negative to a positive review. Yeah, again, if you haven't checked out Jurassic World Dominion, it is now available wherever you get your movies. Check it out. Let us know your review in the comments below. If you haven't checked out our podcast on the Jurassic films, we ranked all of those. That is on the channel right now. Go ahead and give us a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notifications, and we'll see you next time right here on The Real World.